Welcome guys. So in earlier sessions we learned that power power apps and now we move into the power automate. So in earlier session in power apps we learned how to customize the form and how we can create the power apps application canvas application. In from this session we'll start working on power automate. So what is the power automate and what is the purpose of the power automate? What is the connection action? All those things we'll discuss in this session. So in a power platform, as we can see, Power BI, then Power Apps, then Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent. These different power platforms are from the Microsoft. Out of that, we learn the Power Apps and Power Automate. Okay, we are going to learn Power Automate. There is some important thing associated with the Power Automate, which is the data connector, and in Power Apps common data services. In our case, we use the Sharepoint as the data service to store the content. Okay, and in our Power Apps application, in Power Automate, we are going to learn on Power Automate and what is the data connector to connect with the different services. Okay, so let me introduce what is the Power Automate. So Power Automate, it is a platform on a Microsoft cloud for creating workflows to interact with the people as well as other system. So previously what happened? If I am working on consider SharePoint and I want to fetch the contents from Google Drive, or I want to fetch some content from Twitter. So they are different, the service providers are there. Okay, but I want to connect these services with each other. So I am working on a Microsoft SharePoint, but whenever I will add any item in the SharePoint, it will display on my Twitter. So how we can connect, because Twitter is a different service and SharePoint is a different. So how we can connect with each other. So earlier in previous days, what happened? There are web services are there. Okay, so this is the Twitter. Okay, this is the Twitter. So Twitter expose web API. Okay, what is the expose web API or web service? Okay, and that service is accessed by the SharePoint. Okay, SharePoint access that service and display the content on a Twitter. So this is the middle part, is the connection part. So these two services connected with each other through the connection, then authorization and authentication happen in this part, and then SharePoint will display the content on a Twitter. So this is just one thing. Earlier web services are used, web APIs are there to connect with each other. So we need to do some task, we need to spend some time to implement this functionality. So this is not the case for the SharePoint and the Twitter. You can connect Twitter with the Facebook, Facebook with the Twitter, or Yammer or OneDrive on the Twitter. So anything means whatever the services, what kind of a thing you want to do. If you display any add any event on a calendar, it needs to be displayed on a Twitter or Facebook, or any kind of service connection between the two services will establish through the Power Automate. That is the one case. So what are the different cases? Power Automates. So consider in a SharePoint. Consider we generally concentrate on a SharePoint. Consider this is a SharePoint. SharePoint, through the SharePoint, I want to send some email communication or something. So what I need to do, I need to connect with the Outlook service. Okay, Outlook service. So what happened? SharePoint send the communication to the connect to the Outlook service, and we it authenticate through the connector, and we send the email to the Outlook. Okay, and email will be sent to the end user. So this is the connection between the two services, which is the SharePoint and the Outlook. Okay, so like this way there are different services associated with each other. So here in a Power Automate, the main role, it connect the different services with the different connectors. Okay, so whenever we gradually move ahead, you will get good idea on Power Automate. So interact with the people as well as other system. So here as I shown you, it interact with the other system. SharePoint is one system, Outlook is other service. Means this is a service interaction. Okay, so in the previously what happened, we need to write the web service, you need to authenticate them, authorize them, web API, everything you need to manage. But Power Automate solve our all the efforts, and it will simplify it. Okay, it is a web-based interface. Everything is done in a web browser. Like all Power Platform having web-based interface like Apps and Power Automate. Okay, so it is a built for business user, not a developer. So it is the easy to learn. So here they use the business user. So business user, what business user can do? Business user connect the two systems, two services with each other and send email notification or simplified work they can do easily. But there are some activities which require some coding part, okay, or some logic definition. So for that purpose developer needs to implement that. But for simple things, the business user can implement or connect the two services with each other and work out on it. So at the end means the purpose of the Power Automate connect the different services, okay, and means to define and create the application as per the business logic. So this is the definition of a Power Automate. Okay, so interact with the people as well as other system, or you can say other services. Okay, so next, so this is about the Power Automate. So moving ahead, see what does Power Automate offer. Okay, what does Power Automate offer? So in a Power Automate, basically there are three things interconnected with each other. Okay, triggers start the flow, actions include everything that flow does, connectors are open doors to other system. Okay, so this is the basic three things. Whenever interviewer asks you the question what is a power automate, you need to introduce these three things: trigger, action and connector. Okay, so what is meaning by the trigger? What is mean by the trigger? So consider I just give you one scenario. Okay, I just explain you one scenario. This is my SharePoint. Okay, and this is consider Facebook or Twitter. Okay, I say Facebook or Twitter. Okay, this is the Facebook or Twitter page of any company. Consider the company name is Tech Mahindra. Okay, so Tech Mahindra is the organization. So there are some big organization, their tweets are really important for the media. Okay, or consider any government tweets are there, those are also important. But those tweets needs to go through the some approval process within a system. Okay, and after getting a final approval, it will publish on a Twitter or Facebook. So this is the basic process we need to define. So while defining this process, first thing is the trigger. When your flow needs to be triggered, when your flow needs to be triggered, means when it will get a start, when it will get initiated. Okay, so if I'll say you please travel from Pune to Delhi, so how you will trigger, you trigger it. It means when you trigger, when you sit in a bus or a train, and when it will start means its process is trigger or started. So how it was happen, whenever you sit and train whenever train start means your process trigger. But when it happen, when train start, whenever you board into the train, then it will start. So means whenever you are boarding, that is a trigger action. Whenever this is a trigger uh, uh, activity you have performed to trigger something to start the train. You board in a train at specific time, given time, and train will start. Or what is the trigger point? That is one thing. Or what is the trigger point? So important is timing. Here in a train case, timing is important. At the 1 p.m. train will start. Means that is a trigger point. This is a trigger point of your train. Means 1 p.m. then train will start. So that is the trigger point of your train. So in a SharePoint, what happen? Here you will add any atom in a list. You add atom in a list. So whenever you add that atom in a list, that is a trigger point. Means trigger that flow whenever list atom added in a specific list. This is my list in that the atom is added. Consider the list name is a tweet approver or Facebook post approval list. Okay, Whenever you put that in a list, then what happen? Whenever you put that atom in a list, then flow will get trigger. Then your flow will get trigger and it will start the working on it. Okay, so flow. So you understand the trigger. When my flow will trigger, whenever the list atom will added, flow will get a trigger. Whenever that specific time is given, flow will get trigger. Means a schedule flow we call it. Or whenever some action performed by the or some activity performed by user, flow will get triggered. So this depends on when you will start the flow. After that, actions includes everything that flow does. Okay, so what action you are going to do? I have added the list atom here. My work is finished. Atom I have added the list. Then what action? Your flow will start it. Okay, then your flow start. What it will do? What action it will do? It will send email. To whom email send? Approver. So it will send the email to whom? Approver. Okay, and then approver will take his action. What action? He will say approve or reject. Okay, and then again if you say approve, then your flow will get tweet the things. Okay, so this thing perform, which is in a action. What action you are going to do in your after triggering the flow? After triggering what action? So what action we perform? First thing, atom will add it. Okay, flow trigger. So I will say flow trigger here. This flow will trigger. Then it will send email. Okay, email to approver. Then approver will click on it, either approve or reject. Approve or reject. If we approve, then it will get tweeted. Or reject, flow will get terminated. Okay, so like this way means this is the action performed in our flow. But when it was trigger on the list atom added. Okay, now connectors, role of the connectors. So here I'm saying once this is approved, then it will get a tweet. Okay, once it will approve, then it will get a tweet. Now once it will approve, but how it will tweet? This is the part, which is in a SharePoint. Up to this is a part in a SharePoint, but this is a Twitter is a part in a, this is a third service provider. Okay, or third another system. Okay, so how it will work to connect these, so to establish this connection with the Twitter, how you connect it? Okay, so that is another third part is there. So connector means to establish connection between two services or two systems. The role which who perform that, which is the connector. So whenever you say tweet it here, means you need to provide the Twitter credential. Okay, and then only SharePoint will allow to tweet there. So who established this connection? This is the part is called as connector. So this is called as connector. This is a connector. Means after completion of the SharePoint activities, then it will tweet to the here. So who perform the middle part? Okay, so which is called as connector. It connect two services with each other. It connect the two services with each other by providing the credentials. Okay, so this is called, this is the called as connector. So these three activity integrated overall, and which is called as Power Automate. Trigger, then write the action, then connectors. Okay, so these three activities are integrated within each other to perform, to work out on the Power Automate. Okay, gradually we'll get the more idea in this kind of triggers, actions and connectors. Okay, so this is about the trigger. I will explain you how we can trigger, then how it will work. Okay, so this is the licensing part. We'll come to this part afterwards. uh, so here, let me go here back and I'll show you. We are in a Power Automate. Okay, so in a Power Automate, so what we are going to do here in a Power Automate. So what I do, you can see here, you are in SharePoint. Here you go, you can see here option Power Automate. Earlier we learned Power Apps, now in Power Automate. Whenever you are in Power Automate. Okay, in a Power Automate, so this is a home screen. This is a basic home screen. Okay, so in a home screen, just a minute. Okay, so guys, here we can see where we are here. Okay, so in this screen you can see this is our Power Automate screen. Okay, in that you can see there are top picks, remote work, email, notification. You can, and what are the different services: SharePoint, Outlook, OneDrive, Twitter. So there are many kind of services. Okay, so there are many kind of services. Let me open that. Okay, so first thing is trigger, action, and connectors. So to whom it will connect? It connect the different services. So what are the different services in our SharePoint? So let's see here. See here, how many services? 457 services are there in a Power Automate. Okay, 457. There are many services. There are different technologies are there. So to connect to each other, to different technology or different system or service, Power Automate. So there are many softwares are there. But whichever now generally to with whom you are friendly, let me show you. You know, you are friendly with this Outlook, then OneDrive, then Office 365 user, SharePoint, Twitter, notification, RSS feeds. Outlook is also familiar with you. So there are different services and they are having their own role. Okay, now these are the service part. If we go on home, these are the services to which we will connect with each other. So there are some templates. Start from a template. Schedule a meeting with a message sender. Okay, so this is on a Teams. If someone send you a message, you can schedule a meeting with them. Post adaptive card to team when there is a new SharePoint file is there. Okay, post adaptive card to teams when there is a new SharePoint file, means whenever anything new in a SharePoint, then it will create the adaptive card. Okay, in the SharePoint. So these are the templates. These are the called predefined templates. This is the called predefined template. How we can create predefined templates? What is the important thing? I'll create one a flow for you and show you how it works. Okay, so action items. So approvals. So we'll explain. This is action item. If something is pending for approval for me or any, so you will get this receive, sent, and history. We'll discuss on this topic also. Okay, so these are my flows. There are cloud flows, desktop flows, business process flow. They categorize the flows, and these are the templates. These are the templates. So the predefined templates. So these are the predefined templates. You don't have any flow and there are the different predefined templates are there, you just click and start working on. Better than it's a better. See, these are the desktop flow. Different categorization is there. Okay, desktop flows are not for a trial version. If you go on create here, okay, I'll show you. Create automate cloud flows, trigger by the designated event, instant cloud flow, trigger manually as needed, schedule cloud flow. Okay, automatically flow will trigger on the particular time, desktop flows, business process flows. Okay, so our main intention is automated cloud flow and instant cloud flow. So these are the templates are there. The important part, we needs to know what is the trigger, what is the action, and what are the connectors to connect the all 472 services. Okay, so I'll say instant cloud flow. Okay, I'll say instant cloud flow, and what I will do, once I click, then it will send the email to the some person. Okay, just a simple flow. Let's say hi, how are you, email to someone. Okay, so I just click instant cloud flow. So if it says how you want to trigger, what it asks you, trigger manually from any device. So it will say choose how to trigger this flow. You want to trigger it through the Power Apps or manually. So there are different options to trigger it. Okay, so what I do, I'll say manually I want to trigger it. So I'll say create. Okay, so it create the manually trigger flow. So this is the manual trigger. Now this is the part is, see, this is the call. So this is the first is called trigger action. What is called a trigger action? Okay, this is a trigger action. Whatever the first in a flow which is called a trigger action. What it's saying that manually trigger a flow. Okay, manually means whenever I click, it will automatically trigger. So no need to do anything. I will click and trigger it. So I go here and say new state. So through which service you want to send email? So I'll say Outlook. I want to send the email. So here Outlook, send an email. I select this. There are different versions are there. I just select this. Okay. So what I'm doing, I am just click on that manually and send the, I am saying the Outlook to send email. Okay. So see, so this is the part. So I'll select this. I just select the what operation I want to do, send an email. So what is that? Send an email means this is the action I am doing. That is action. You know the trigger. Manually I will trigger it. Means I click the button, then it will trigger. What action? Send the email. And what is the connector? Now we'll see the connector. What is the connector? So if you click here, if you click here, my connection is there. My connection Raju. So now our Outlook connection is already established, because Outlook connection is already established because Raju having his own Outlook account. We'll see whenever I just create the flow. First I'll send the email to Raju itself. Okay, so Raju, and say hello, how are you? Okay, so same I will copy and paste here. Okay, so see here. So we'll see what is this and that. Okay, first thing we just understand that. Okay, and dynamic content, what content are you, if you want to, how are you, on date you can put the date. Okay, we'll discuss what is this afterwards. First we understand what is the trigger, action and connection. Okay, so here now what I do, I'll save my flow. Okay, flow will get, will save automatically. Okay, so I'll give the name to my flow. Okay, so my flow is saved here, save here. So if you want to change the name, you can change. I will show you, but our flow has been saved now. Okay, now what I do, I'll go back here. Okay, so my flow automatically it take automatically it take to my flow name is button send an email. Okay, so if you want to change the flow name, just go on home, see, sorry, my flows, click on my flows, because we have created one flow now. Now see here, my button flow, if you want to rename, see here, untitled, I click here and I rename this flow as send email flow. Okay, so my flow name is send email flow. Okay, save this, send email, and this is okay. Now again I will go back in my flows. Okay, so here you can see the connection part. Again, this is my flow name, send email flow, status is on. Okay, Raju is the owner of this flow. Any trigger action as of now, there is no run. So this is the connection. Okay, this is the connection to with which service? This is Outlook service. I am connected with the Outlook service here. Okay, if you want to edit, if you want to means if you think here, so this is a connection. You can see the connection in use, which connection you are using. You can add, consider if you want to add use the sham connection, means email needs to trigger to the sham connection. Okay, so I'll say sham. Okay, it will create the see sham. Now see, I have added the sham. So here I have created connection with the Outlook through the Ram, Raju and Sham. So whichever you want, you can use it. Okay, in a flow. So this is a connection part. Who are the owner? Raju and Sham, both are the owner. Run only users. Your flow has not been shared with anyone. Means as of now I have not shared this flow. Okay, so how to trigger this flow manually? Now this is the connection part. We connect to the Outlook with the Raju's permissions. Okay, here maybe the Twitter is there, maybe the Facebook is there, maybe the OneDrive is there. Means different services, all 472 services are there. In that you need to connect. So see, again I will explain you first. So first thing, I go here. Okay, flow is divided in the three parts. First thing is the trigger action. You understand, this is the trigger point, how manually. Then action, this is the action part. Okay, and Now third is the connection, which is a means to connect the services with service to which is the outlook. This is the connection. How it will automatically there, because I have added outlook there. I have sent an email here and it automatically created connection for me. So earlier in the previous days, what we need to do, we need to establish the connection, we need to write the web service, you need to match the parameter to subject body parameters, and then everything will be ready, and then you need to establish the connection credentials. Here everything is managed by the flow. It save your efforts. Now we'll run our flow. Now where is my flow? See here, this is my flow. Run history, there is no run history. So here you can see run option. Okay, you can see run. Just a click. Let me open my Raju's Outlook window. Here is Raju's Outlook window. Something went wrong. We could not find the mailbox with this account. Either you don't have the mailbox, you don't have the license assigned. Okay. So actually our license expired. Okay, no problem. So I just show you how it will work. Run. Okay. Whenever I say run, sign in. This see it establish the connection, run the flow, send email flow. Okay. So what is this flow? Use the following app. A green check means you are ready to go. So I say okay. Okay, and run flow means I have established the flow and run the flow, and I say done. So my flow run and it will send the, it's saying, you can see here you will get the run history, 28 days run history of your flows here. Okay, how many flows are there running, so you will see here. Okay, so here I'll go here and see. So here I understand, here it's saying that running. Again I'll refresh it, just to go here and refresh, and again check the status of your flow. See here it's saying that succeed means my flow run the successfully. If you can see here, you can see it allow me the to check how it was executed. See here your flow ran successful means I check my flow run history. Here you can see it's a manually trigger send an email. So here you can see the green mark means this action are work out successfully. If there is a red cross means there is some issue in that action. You can see the output here means this is a debugging part. Okay, if there is some issue in your flow, then you can check it here. Okay, so here, so
Hello, sir.
yeah, just a minute. So here you can see the flow, our flow successfully run, and you can see here input Raju, hello how are you, hello how are you, and date means you can check and debug our code. Okay, if you want, again you want to run the flow, you can run. So here manually run, that's why it's asking us to run flow. I say run flow. Okay, and my flow is running. Okay, again you can see here second action here running. So here is the running part. You can check all runs also for 28 days history. See here success, that one is also successfully executed. To debug that, in case any issue in your flow, you need to click there, you need to click like this way, you need to check that how it works. Or in case any issue, it will display any issue here, it will show you the issue here. Okay, so how it will display the issue, let me edit this flow, and I will send email to the someone which is not exist. So I send the email. Okay, so it will not exist, but still I'll say save the flow. So it's saying error 2 is required. So it's check in a directory that person is not there or not, and then only allowed me. Okay, no problem. So here we have set the flow. I show you how we can run the flow, how we can check the run history. Here you need to click here to check the run history. Again one more thing, if every time you need to say, you can resubmit here. Okay, you can resubmit the same flow again. Okay, it will trigger again and perform the activity. This 3 times this flow was executed. If you want to here you, if you want one more thing I would like to show you. Here you can see the flow checker. In case any error related to flow, you can check that, or you can click here. Here you can edit the flow. Okay, this normal flow editing, that is the important part. Here you can see the test. If you want to test or debug the flow, you just test click on it. So what it's saying, you want to manually perform or automatically with a recent use trigger. Means earlier you trigger this flow 3 times. Means you pass some parameter or based on SharePoint trigger or any trigger, you want to use same trigger action. If you say yes, 2 minutes before I want to use this trigger action to trigger this flow, then you can test. So it perform the run the flow, and in front of you you can see how it executed and everything is you can see here. Or you can manually also test the things here manually and test. Okay, so it show it manually, you can say run flow, and in front of you you can see here the flow will execute. How it will, if the flow is big flow, then you can see slowly all the actions will getting green, and in case any red mark, you can go and check the red thing. Okay, so that is overall about you understand what is the trigger, what is the action, and what is the connector to connect the services. So this is overall about the Power Automate. Gradually we learn more thing in the Power Automates, we establish the connection, we do more things in a Power Automate. So we stop here, and in next session we'll check how we can use the SharePoint, Outlook, Twitter as a services in that. Okay, thank you.